The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Welcome to Aging Horizons. Today we're going to be speaking with Kimmy Everman, State SHIP Director, and we're going to be asking her all sorts of questions about Medicare 101. All the basic information you've needed to know, all the things you're going to need to know moving forward, when to enroll, how, who, and all the questions we can think of to ask her about Medicare, everything you've been dying to know. So please stay tuned with us as we talk to Kimmy Everman.
Questions about Medicare and other types of insurance? Contact the State Health Insurance Assistance Program office to get answers to questions like, what is the difference between Medicare and Medicaid, and how do you decide if you need Medicare supplemental insurance? This insurance counseling program is not a sales program. It is available to provide answers to your insurance questions. For more information, call the State Health Insurance Assistance Program office at 1-800-332-2272.
If the Aging Network in Montana was a restaurant, the sign out front would say, over 50 million meals served over the last 30 years. Since adequate nutrition is critical to health and quality of life, nutrition services are an important factor in keeping older Montanans healthy, independent, and living in their community and home. To find out more about senior nutrition programs in your area, call 1-800-551-3191.
Are you looking for a helping hand through the maze of human services, or for information on government programs and benefits that you may qualify for? The Information and Assistance Program provides information on all programs that meet our aging population's basic needs and programs that enhance their lives as well as the lives of their families or caregivers. If you have questions about Medicaid, Medicare, or other services and programs, please call 1-800-551-3191.
Energy Share really is neighbors helping neighbors. There's no federal funding that comes into Energy Share.
I don't know that we realize that most people are about one paycheck away from disaster. And so it doesn't take much to find yourself in trouble trying to meet these bills.
And I think there'll always be a need for an entity like Energy Share, again, to help people give them a hand up rather than a hand out.
Welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Katie Lovell, today, and today we're going to be speaking with Kimmy Everman, State SHIP Director.
Right.
And Kimmy, SHIP stands for State Health Insurance Assistance Program. Is that right?
That's right, absolutely.
Okay. So Kimmy, we just finished open enrollment. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about what that means before we go into the meat of the program today?
Sure, because Katie, you know what, open enrollment or annual enrollment, it's known by both, is one of the most important things a Medicare beneficiary is going to face every year. And I want to start out by saying it doesn't mean you have to change your plan every year, but we are really encouraging people, you need to check your plan every year. Because you don't know, are my medications going to be more expensive? Are they still going to be on the formulary? Is the company I'm with even still going to be offering plans for sale in my area? So there's a lot to it. But basically, it is that every year between October 15th and December 7th, we have this open enrollment or annual enrollment. And it's the time when a beneficiary is allowed to look at their plan, be it just a drug plan, or maybe they have a Medicare Advantage plan, which is one of those Medicare health plans. Either one, they get to take a look at their plans and decide if they want to change. Their current benefit will go right up to December 31st, and if they choose a different company, it'll be in place with the different company January 1, so it
Great.
turns over. And if you don't pick a different one, you'll just go sailing along.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah, and you know, it's just, we really, really want to encourage people. You know, I can speak from experience. My mom and dad have had the same drug program or plan for years. They really like it, but we check it every year just to make sure that everything is still what they need it to be.
Sure. So, Kimmy, getting back to just the basic, what is Medicare?
Okay, Medicare is the federal insurance that you get for being employed, and you need 40 work credits to get Medicare, and that just entails 10 years of full-time work. So you can pretty much tell if you're going to get Medicare or not. You just have to work 10 years of full-time employment. And it can be a few years here, a few years here, which, you know, is quite important to maybe the mothers in our audience, because maybe they stayed home to raise children and couldn't be out in the workforce for a few years. So that's how you get it. That's what it is. And it's in 4 parts. Part A, B, C, and D.
Okay.
Part A is the hospitalization. So if you get in a horrible crash, or you know, you have a bad disease, that's going to cover you. Part B is your outpatient coverage.
Okay.
And it's going to work when you go to the doctor's office, just for regular things, routine things. For both the A and B, there is a deductible. And so people need to realize that, well, A comes premium free to people, but they do have a deductible if they go to the hospital. Part B, there's a premium every month.
Okay.
But they also get a really good value for, you know, the premium that they pay. Now, Part C is what we would refer to as the Medicare health plans or the Medicare Advantage plans.
Sure.
And those are wraparound plans that have everything included, including drug coverage. And then Part D is the prescription drug coverage, which is the newest really big benefit to come to us in Medicare.
Okay. So, Kimmy, who is eligible for Medicare?
People that are 65 and older are eligible for Medicare, but there's also other people. Sometimes you may have a person who is a younger worker who is disabled, and they also receive Medicare after they're found eligible by the Social Security Administration.
Okay.
And that's very important for our audience to know. It can't just be that your doctor says you're disabled. You have to go through a process with Social Security and prove that you're disabled, but then you'll get your Medicare along with a Social Security disability benefit, most likely.
Okay.
And you know, there are some children that are on Medicare, even children that have ESRD, which is end-stage renal disease. We don't see too many of those, but they certainly are on Medicare. And you know, there's always a case-by-case basis where somebody has it that has an unusual situation.
Sure. So I think you and I believe that Medicare is a great benefit, but why should people enroll in Medicare?
Well, you know, it is a great benefit, and when I say that, you know, I'm saying that for the very low deductible and premium, a person is getting some really good coverage. It's very comprehensive. The drug coverage is better than ever because the formularies are getting better than ever. And it's just, it's a very good safety net for a person to have.
Well, we are going to talk about why you should enroll in Medicare when we come back. So I've got more questions for you, so make sure you stick around. We've got more to talk about.
I'll do it.
So make sure you come back with us. We're going to talk about why we should enroll in Medicare. We're going to talk about all of the traditional Medicare health plans and then some Advantage plans as well and what those differences are. So please make sure you stay with us, stay tuned. Kimmy Everman has a lot more information for us and with us, so please stay tuned with us. Thank you.
You sure you can see?
Yeah.
Are the headlights on?
Yes.
Do we need chains?
No.
Need to slow down?
You know, you're probably right.
Winterize your vehicle, then winterize your mind. Stay clear of snowplows until they pull over, and it's safe to pass. Drive safely and arrive alive.
The face of the American workforce is changing. People are healthier, living longer, and living better. Baby boomers are a valuable resource for the workplace of today and tomorrow. They're still active and eager to help. Experience, dedication, wisdom, these are just some of the significant assets older workers bring to the job. Age is an asset, experience a benefit.
Seems like the power bills just get higher and higher every year. I'm on a fixed income and it just doesn't keep up. I hate to do it, but sometimes I have to choose between my meds and staying warm.
No one should ever have to choose between staying well and staying warm. If you need help paying your heating bills, call us today to find out if you qualify. Help is available for both homeowners and renters.
The cold gets into your bones and you can't get it out.
Here in Montana, we love our outdoor activities. Unfortunately, few of them are risk-free. Indeed, Montana is second in the nation per capita in head injuries that can destroy the lives of people we love. That's why you should insist your family always wear protective helmets. But you can do even more. When you fill out your vehicle registration this year, circle the Y and donate $1 to support traumatic brain injury prevention and education. Now that's using the old noggin.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're talking with Kimmy Everman, State SHIP Director. And Kimmy, let's just talk a little bit about enrollment.
Okay. Well, you know, everyone or most people, if you've worked your 10 years of full-time work, is going to be eligible for Medicare at age 65. One of the biggest reasons that I think people should take their Medicare is that they worked for it.
Sure.
And, you know, when I'm talking to beneficiaries, in specific about Part A, you know, Part A, you don't pay a premium. You just get that if you're a beneficiary. But I never say it's free because you worked for it and you paid in taxes to help it be there when you got there. So I just think that number one is you deserve it. It's yours from lots of hard work and you should take it. And I just think in terms of folks that, you know, maybe don't have a coverage through their employer anymore and such, they need it. We can't, in this day and age, you just can't really be without health insurance, especially older folks who tend to maybe be sick more.
Sure, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what should people consider before they enroll in Medicare?
Well, you know, we have a couple of different ways of getting Medicare. So beneficiaries need to be familiar with those and decide which type they really like better. Now there's traditional Medicare or original Medicare. That's what you might hear it referred to as. And that is you get Part A, you get Part B, and then you purchase a separate Part D plan. So that means you get your hospital coverage, you get your outpatient services, and then you also have medical or RX coverage.
Sure.
So that would be the traditional model. In addition, sometimes people that take the traditional model may buy what's called a supplemental insurance. Medicare is an 80-20 split, 80%, 20%. And Medicare pays the 80% and the beneficiary pays 20%.
Sure.
So there's some out-of-pocket that sometimes people want to get a supplemental insurance to help pay for that kind of coverage. Now people need to understand if they do want a supplemental, you have to pay a premium for that each month as well.
Sure.
And so it isn't going to come premium free. So you have to consider, you know, can I afford it? That's one of the first things. And with traditional Medicare, you can go to any doctor that uses Medicare, or that accepts Medicare. So it frees you up to make the choice of practitioners that you would like to make. Not everybody wants to be in that model. So the other model is what we call the Medicare health plans, or the Medicare Advantage plans. Now, these are plans that are administered by private companies, and they include A, B, and D, so everything, plus maybe they're going to give a little extra. That's where the Part C comes in. They're Part C, and they might give you some dental coverage. They might give you some vision coverage. But they do have to give you everything that Medicare gives you, not thing for thing, but the value needs to be the same.
Sure, of A, B, and D.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, not D, just A and
O
B.
and B.
Okay. Well, yeah, D, I guess, too, because it has to work along with the kind of way that Part Ds cover people.
Sure.
But a Medicare health plan also means that you need to use a network, and what that means is that the company that you purchase your plan from has a network or a list of practitioners that they will allow you to use and pay for. If you don't use them and use someone not on the list, you pay higher prices.
Sure.
So they're very different plans. It really just depends on what you are looking for.
Sure.
The Medicare health plans, they take care of everything. The traditional Medicare, you have to do a little bit more of your own footwork, but it just all depends on what is your, the best thing for you.
Sure. So how does someone know whether they should choose traditional Medicare or an Advantage plan?
Perfect question, because you go talk to a SHIP counselor.
Okay.
That's what you do. Our SHIP counselors are just very highly trained in these different programs, and they know all the differences that they can lay out for you. Now, they're not going to tell you which plan to choose or which way to go, original or an MA plan, because that's not what we do.
Sure.
We're objective. We just give you the information, and we say, we would like to give you this information so that you can make the decision.
Sure. So what about Part D? How do you know what Part D plan to choose?
A Part D plan is you want to look at the formulary, and that's just the list of drugs that it covers.
Sure.
You want to look at the prices. You want to look at, are all the medications that you take on the list of the formulary from the company. You want to look at, is it a higher premium, a lower premium? I mean, again, you want to come to a SHIP counselor to do that, because if that sounded complex, it is.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does.
So you want to come to a SHIP counselor and have them help you, and what they can do is a plan comparison.
Okay. So, Kimmy, I think Medicare is an amazing value, but there are folks that need help funding their Medicare. So there are programs that help for that, right?
Right.
So that's what we're going to talk about next. So make sure you stay with us. Kimmy and I are going to discuss those financial assistance programs through Medicare. So we've got more information to share, more information to come. So please stay tuned with us.
Every generation produces heroes, men and women who step forward to defend our country in time of need, no matter the personal cost to themselves. And though we can never fully repay them, we can make sure they have access to low-cost, long-term care when they need it. That's what Montana's Veterans Homes are all about. If you've got a hero in need in your family, call us. We can help.
Sometimes the difference between having the life-saving medications you need and going without is the premium on your Medicare drug insurance. If you are a Montana resident enrolled in the Medicare prescription drug program, you may be eligible to receive help with your premiums, even if you own your home or other assets or think you may have too much income. Call or visit the Big Sky RX website today to find out if you qualify.
There you go, ma'am. See you next month.
Thank you.
In Montana, we know all about responsibility and personal accountability. Don't pay another medical bill that you don't understand. Take charge. Review your medical bills and call your provider right away if you have questions. If your bills are too confusing, call Montana SMP, the Senior Medicare Patrol. Call 800-551-3191 and get connected directly to a local office. Call Montana SMP today.
All across Montana, people are making a difference.
Well, my Arthritis Foundation exercise program is a lifesaver to all the participants that are in it.
I bent down to pick up a piece of trash, and when I stood up, I started walking backwards down the steps. I managed to stay up because of a lot of the exercise we do helps with the balance. My lifesaver.
For more information, visit dphhs.mt.gov/arthritis.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're talking with Kimmy Everman, State SHIP Director. And Kimmy, before we move into talking about those financial assistance programs, I forgot to ask you how people enroll in Medicare.
Well, you know what? Thank you, Katie, because I also forgot to talk about a really important piece of this, and that is that you apply for your Medicare at Social Security.
Okay.
Now, that might sound kind of strange, because why wouldn't I apply for Medicare at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services,
sure,
which is CMS? Because Social Security all your life is tracking your employment, and so they know exactly how many work credits you should have and if you are eligible to get that Medicare, and so they're the ones that track that.
Sure.
And that's all they do with Medicare, though, is the enrollment. A person can go online because you can now do that kind of stuff on their website.
Sure.
You can call them. There's many ways to get a hold of Social Security, but that's the entity people need to know is where they're going to enroll.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. So let's talk about those financial assistance programs.
Sure.
I know that there are quite a few. How do people get help paying their Medicare premiums if they need it?
Well, another great question, because we know that there are Montanans who need some assistance.
Sure.
And the first thing that we want to say is that, again, this is not charity. This is just to help a person, because if we help them with something with their Medicare, it might make them able to stay in their home longer.
Sure.
And that's what most people want, is to be able to age in their home. So we want to make all the effort we can to give them the assistance it takes for that to happen. We all know going to a nursing home is pretty expensive. So staying home, your home,
sure,
is really preferable.
Sure.
Now, one of the really great helping programs is the Medicare Savings Program. It's also referred to as MSP. And what the Medicare Savings Program does is pay the Part B premium every month for a person. There are 3 levels of assistance under the Medicare Savings Program. People might hear some funny acronyms. It's QIMBY, SLIMBY, and QI1.
Okay.
And they are just different levels of eligibility, depending what kind of income the person has.
Sure.
And what we tell folks is that when you have this program to pay that monthly premium, that frees up $150 about, or a little bit more. That frees that up for you to use it to pay your fuel bill, buy some groceries,
sure,
put gas in your car. buy a birthday gift for your granddaughter. Just any number of things that a person would do when they have money that they didn't expect to have in their account. The other really great program is the low income subsidy, or the LIS program. Now that goes along with Part D, which is the drug coverage, and what it does is it pays for the eligible beneficiaries. It's going to pay for the premium of a drug plan up to a certain amount, and I'll talk about that in a minute. It's also going to pay for some folks some out-of-pocket expenses. You know, they get a chance to buy their medications at a cheaper or less expensive price. There's just a number of things within that program that help them with their Part D. Sure. And in fact, people that have the Medicare health programs, the MA, even though they have drug coverage that's included in their package, they may be able to have LIS assistance that will be able to pay their MA company. So it's a very good program. What I meant when I said benchmark a minute ago was this program makes a stipulation and says you have to pay attention to this benchmark, and that's the price of a premium for a drug plan based on the average in a region. Sure. It's usually in the $34 range or so. And so they'll pay up to that. If you want a plan that costs $100, you can do that and be on LIS, but it's only going to still pay up to that benchmark. But there's lots of plans to choose from. Sure. So it doesn't keep a person, you know, boxed in. Sure. And I don't want to forget to talk about our Big Sky RX, which is, you know, what I always call a homegrown program, because it's the state pharmaceutical assistance program in Montana, and it helps people pay the premium of their drug plan every month. And the good thing about the Big Sky RX is you can make a little more income and still be eligible, and they also aren't going to look at your resources, so they don't care what you have like that. Sure. It's based on income. So it's a wonderful program. All three are great programs.
That's wonderful. And Kimmy, we've talked a lot about SHIP counselors, and I just want to underscore that one more time because they are such amazing resources for members of the community. How do you contact a SHIP counselor?
Well, great question, Katie, because we do want to make sure people don't just hear us talking and don't know how to get a hold of them. You know, we're going to put the number up on the screen. You call the toll-free number. It's kind of cool. Wherever you call it from in the state of Montana, it will ring into your local area agency on aging. That's wonderful. And you can find your SHIP counselor there. You probably can go over to their office and have an appointment, or they may be able to come to you, but they're awesome.
That's wonderful, and those SHIP counselors are so amazing to work with in every community across the state. So Kimmy, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I hope you had all of your Medicare questions answered, so please join us next time.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.